Hi Year 8s and welcome to week 5 of your remote learning. All your teachers are really proud of you. But before we carry on, it is very important that you do your best to send some of your work into your teachers. We've said this before, it allows us to give you some feedback and to give you some achievement points on Sims. So if you can, upload your work so your teachers can see it. Also, you need to complete all the exercises on the video, okay? So every so often your teacher will ask you to stop the video, and that means that you can complete the work that has been set, okay? Don't skip it. Take your time, all right? If you don't finish today, you can finish on a Friday, or if you've got any spare time in between lessons, you can complete it then. But please don't skip it, all right? And you must watch the video all the way through, listen to the story, and complete the activities, okay? Now, I don't think I really need to tell you this, but we'll go through it anyway. So find yourself somewhere nice and quiet, somewhere where you can work quietly. Make sure that you have all your equipment with you and that you are ready to learn. And also check your instructions on Teams, okay? There should be all the instructions as well on how to find the videos. Okay, it's very easy. Just go to the KJS website and you'll see the link there for remote learning, and all your videos are on there. Okay, so first lesson of the week, lesson 13. Okay, let's make a start. Oh, we are being so healthy with our work. Okay, so English 5 a day. Remember, very important to have your 5 a day, your fruit and vegetables. Okay, but this is an English 5 a day. All right, so pause the video and complete the 5 little exercises that are there. Okay, we will go through it at the end of the lesson. Okay, so pause the video and complete the tasks. Okay, well done for completing your 5 a day activity. Right, okay, so what I would like you to do now is I would like you in your books or on some paper, I would like you to write today's date and underline it. And I would also like you to write down these 2 words. You must leave a little bit of space at the side or underneath so that you can write down what they mean. Okay, so you have got 2 words, protagonist and antagonist. Okay, so can you write those 2 words down in your books? You can pause the video now while you do this. Okay, so any ideas what these mean? Some of you may have heard these words before, some of you may not, it doesn't matter. Okay, so what I would like you to do now is I would like you to spend a couple of minutes thinking about what these words may mean. You can also, if you like, do a little bit of cheeky research. Okay, so I would like you to pause the video now and have a think about what these words mean. You could even ask somebody, all right? So if mum, dad or grandma is around, you can ask them, see if they know what they mean. Okay, so let's go through these words and let's have a little bit of a few ideas. All right, so a protagonist. Now, I'm not sure what you got, but this is basically what a protagonist is. It's a leading character, okay? Or one of the major characters in a play, a film, or a novel, okay? We know them as a good guy, okay? But we also know them as a hero, okay? And an antagonist. Any ideas what that means? If you've got a protagonist, what do you think an antagonist is? Well, it's the absolute opposite, all right? So an antagonist is a character in a story who is presented as the chief enemy of the protagonist. He is the bad guy, okay? And we also know him or her as a villain, all right? So what I would like you to do, and this is going back to your year 7 classes, okay, when you did heroes and villains with your teacher. What I would like you to do now is I would like you to pause the video, and I would like you to write this in the center of your book. Before you go though, can you please make sure that you have the definitions underneath your word, okay? That's the one thing you must do. When you have completed that, please write in the middle of your book what makes a good villain. And then I want you to pause the video and I want you to spend some time thinking about all the characteristics that makes a good villain. Okay, it could be what they wear, it could be their personality, anything at all. Okay, so spend a good 5 minutes writing some notes down. Okay, so pause the video now and complete the exercise. Okay, now hopefully your page, okay, will have lots and lots of ideas. Okay, now I'm going to bring a few ideas up. You may have got some different ones. That is absolutely fine. What you can do though, you can add a few of mine in. All right, okay, so what makes a good villain? All right, they actually have a reason for doing what they do. All right, they have a good motive. All right, because even though they are doing something bad, they have a reason for that, and they think it's a good reason to them. Okay, they can be persuasive. Okay, this could be in a good way or a bad way. They have some likable characteristics. Okay, now as a reader or as we are watching a film with a villain in there, they do actually have some quite likable characteristics which makes them a good character. Okay, they need to be in control. Very, very important for a villain. They have to be in control of the situation or of a person. Okay, they are cruel and unkind. They can be merciless, even to innocent people. Now, if you're not sure what the word merciless means, you might have to do some word research and find out what that word means. Okay, so it doesn't matter how innocent the people are, they can be quite merciless. Intelligent. Now, I've got a question mark there. You may agree. Why do you agree? Are they intelligent? Okay, are they clever? All right. Would you think they are clever? If they have to plan something, if they are so devious, would they be intelligent enough to be able to plan to be devious and to plan things, to plan horrible things that they do to people? Okay. And that they believe that they are the good guy. Okay, they cannot see that they are bad. They always think that they are the good guy. And they are manipulative. This might be another word that you've never heard of. All right, so again, if you are unsure, you can do some word research and investigate that word. Okay, well done for completing that the previous activity. Hopefully you've got lots and lots of ideas about what makes a villain. Okay, we will come back to that, but what we are going to do now is we are going to read chapter 14 of Holes. Okay, so as usual, you can just listen to me reading it, or you can mute my voice and just read it yourself. Okay, so enjoy. Chapter 14. That night, as Stanley lay on his scratchy and smelly cot, he tried to figure out what he could have done differently, but there was nothing he could do. For once in his unlucky life, he was in the right place at the right time, and it still didn't help him. "You got it?" he asked X-Ray the next morning at breakfast. X-Ray looked at him with half-opened eyes behind his dirty glasses. "I don't know what you're talking about," he grumbled. "You know," said Stanley. "No, I don't know," X-Ray snapped. "So just leave me alone, okay? I don't want to talk to you." Stanley didn't say another word. Mr. Sir marched the boys out to the lake, chewing sunflower seeds along the way and spitting out the shells. He scraped the ground with his boot heel to mark where each boy was supposed to dig. Stanley stamped down on the back of the blade and the shovel, piercing the hard, dry earth. He couldn't figure out why X-Ray snapped at him. If he wasn't going to produce the tube, why did he make Stanley give it to him? Was he just going to keep it? The tube was gold in colour, but Stanley didn't think it was real gold. The truck came a little after sunrise. Stanley finished his last drop of water and stepped out of his hole. At this time of day, Stanley sometimes could see the distant hills or mountains on the other side of the lake. They were only visible for a short while and would soon disappear behind the haze of heat and dirt. The truck stopped and the dust cloud drifted past it. X-Ray took his place in the front of the line. Mr. Pendanski filled his canteen. "Thanks, Mum," X-Ray said. He didn't mention the tube. Mr. Pendanski filled all the canteens, then climbed back into the cab of the pickup. He still had to bring water to Group E. Stanley could see them digging about 200 yards away. "Mr. Pendanski!" X-Ray shouted from his hole. "Wait! Mr. Pendanski! I think I might have found something." The boys all followed Mr. Pendanski as he walked over to X-Ray's hole. Stanley could see the gold tube sticking out of some dirt on the end of X-Ray's shovel. Mr. Pendanski examined it and took a long look at its flat bottom. "I think the Warden is going to like this." "Does X-Ray get the day off?" asked Squid. "Just keep digging until someone says otherwise," Mr. Pendanski said. Then he smiled. "But if I were you, Rex, I wouldn't dig too hard." Stanley watched the cloud of dust move across the lake to the cabin beneath the trees. The boys in Group E were just going to have to wait. It didn't take long for the pickup to return. Mr. Pendanski stepped out of the cab. A tall woman with red hair stepped out of the passenger side. She looked even taller than she was, since Stanley was down in his hole. She wore a black cowboy hat and black cowboy boots, which were studded with turquoise stones. The sleeve of her shirt was rolled up, and her arms were covered with freckles, as was her face. She walked right up to X-Ray. "This where you found it?" "Yes, ma'am." "Your good work will be rewarded." She turned to Mr. Pendanski. "Drive X-Ray back to camp. Let him take a double shower and give him some clean clothes. But first I want you to fill everyone's canteen." "I just filled them a little while ago," said Mr. Pendanski. The Warden stared hard at him. "Excuse me," she said. Her voice was soft. "I had just filled them when Excuse me, the warden said again. Did I ask you when you last filled them? No, but it's just excuse me. Mr. Pendanski stopped talking. The warden wiggled her finger for him to come to her. It's hot, and it's only going to get hotter, she said. Now these fine boys have been working hard. Don't you think it might be possible that they might have taken a drink since the last filled their canteens? Mr. Pendanski said nothing. The warden turned to Stanley. Caveman, will you come here, please? Stanley was surprised she knew his name. He had never seen her until she stepped out of the truck. He didn't even know the warden was a woman. He nervously went toward her. Mr. Pendanski and I have been having a discussion. Have you taken a drink since Mr. Pendanski last filled your canteen? Stanley didn't want to cause any trouble for Mr. Pendanski. I still got plenty left, he said. Excuse me. He stopped. Yeah, I drank some. Thank you. May I see your canteen, please? Stanley handed it to her. Her fingernails were painted dark red. She gently shook the canteen, letting the water swish inside the plastic container. Do you hear the empty spaces? She asked. Yes, said Mr. Pendanski. Then fill it, she said. And the next time I tell you to do something, I expect you to do it without questioning my authority. If it's too much trouble for you to fill a canteen, I'll give you a shovel. You can dig a hole and the caveman can fill your canteen. She turned back to Stanley. I don't think that would be too much trouble for you, would it? No, said Stanley. So what will it be? She asked Mr. Pendanski. Do you want to fill the canteens or do you want to dig? I'll fill the canteens, said Mr. Pendanski. Thank you. Okay, Year 8. So now we have listened to Chapter 14. What I would like you to do is I would like you to write a paragraph in your book or on some paper about your first impressions of the warden. Okay, so in your books I would like you to write some things down. Okay, now I have written a few ideas down here which you may wish to write about. Okay, so first of all, what were your ideas about the warden before you met her? Now you might want to go back to the very first lesson, okay, when Mrs. Sunderland talked about the warden owned the shade. Okay, so that might be something for you to think about. And then also, what questions did you have before you met her? And then finally, a few ideas about what your first impressions of the warden are. Okay, so do this now, please. Pause the video, complete the activity. Please don't forget to upload all your work to your teacher. Okay, they love to see all the work that you are putting into it, and it's good to see that you are working so hard. Okay, so please don't forget to do that. Okay, well done, guys. Okay, Year 8, well done for completing that activity. What I would like you to do now is I would like you to just double check that you have got all your spellings correct, that you have used punctuation correctly, okay? And also, more importantly, I'd like you to make sure that you have got all your ideas down there, okay? So before you go today, it's nearly the end of your lesson, I'd like to go back to your starter activity, which was your English 5 a day. All right, I'd like to go through those with you, so you might need to turn back a couple of pages. You can use a different coloured pen, and because you can mark your own work, give yourselves some really positive feedback. Okay, so the first one, what is an adverb? Okay, it's a word that is used to tell more about a verb. Remember, a verb is a doing word. All right, and it almost always answers the questions how, when, where, how often, and in what way. So for example, Stanley stepped cautiously onto the dried lake. Okay, so you will find that they are always the ly words. Okay, and the question about holes, what are the 2 items that Stanley found? Okay, so he's found a fossil of a fish and a tube-like item with the letters KB. Now we're not sure what that is just yet, do we? And then the definition of desolate. All right, this is a little bit of an investigation task, and it means a place that is uninhabited. That means that there's nobody there, nobody lives there. Okay, there are no houses. It's very, very sparse. But it also gives an impression of it being quite bleak and empty. That you could think about the lake, couldn't you? Because it's all dried up. It's in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the American desert. And then identifying language techniques. Okay, what did you find from this? Let's have a look. Right, so I'm thinking, all right, maybe this one here, like 1,000 knives piercing. Okay, I still cannot do a straight line, but that is a simile. Okay, there are lots and lots of other things going on here as well, isn't there? Okay, the midday heat felt like 1,000 knives piercing violently into my skin, like a vicious, angry predator. Oh, look, there's another simile. But have you noticed something quite different about this one? Okay, the sentence has actually been started with a simile. Okay, the heaviness of the heat enveloped me in a suffocating grasp. Okay, this here could be possibly a metaphor. And the heat enveloped, it's like hugged. You could change that to hugged. It's a little bit like a personification, isn't it? So well done if you've picked those out. And also as well, fabulous if you've picked out things like adverbs. Okay, and these really good bits of language. Okay, quite sophisticated language there, vicious. Okay, suffocating, heaviness, violently, piercing. Okay, so well done if you've picked some of those out. And then this one. Now, this is all down to you guys. All right, so everybody's is different, but do you know what? Please share them with your teachers. Okay, they would love to see these. All right, so you had to rewrite this sentence. He was tired. Now, a little bit of an example there. Okay, regretfully, he failed to dig his hole. So we have started with an adverb. Okay. Okay, so regretfully, there's my adverb. He failed to dig his hole. The tiredness had kicked in like an overworked donkey. Okay, so there is the simile. Okay, so well done guys. This is the end of your lesson. As always, please make sure that you upload your work and send it to your teacher. Your teachers love to see all the hard work you are doing. And enjoy the rest of your day, and I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye for now.